Hey guys, Dr. J here. Today we're going to be talking about mycotoxins, mold, and how it can damage and hurt your brain. So first off, we have mycotoxins. These are going to be the off-gassing or the flatulence of various mold particles, right? Mold can come from decaying matter outside. It could be plants, it could be soil, it could be leaves. It could also be from inside the home, which tends to be the worst when we're dealing with drywall material, wood, furniture, any type of material in the home. If it gets moist, either from a leak or from just high humidity that's chronic, that can create moldy environment. You even see it in a basement where there may not be any furniture, it may be unfinished, yet you have high humidity pulling from the concrete foundation, from the soil into it. That high humidity, the basement's typically 20% higher than the rest of the house, can create that musty, mildewy basement smell that we're all familiar with. That's why dehumidifiers in the basement are essential. So either way, mold can come in from lots of different reasons. We have the chronic kind of high humidity situation. We have the leak situation that was either not repaired in time or just we didn't go and get all the moisture out from behind it or dry it efficiently, right? And so these mycotoxins and mold, the molds from it can produce these mycotoxins, over 300 of them. And we'll talk about kind of what that's going to look like in a second. Before we do, smash that like button. Love to see your comment down below. And if you want more support, there'll be links where you can reach out to my staff and team. So first off, molds and mycotoxins can be a major driving factor of lots of illness, whether it's mood issues, energy issues, cognitive issues, focus issues. Mold can be a big part. So direct damage, mold toxins, these mycotoxins, over 300 of them. Again, they're the off gas of these molds. They're the flatulence of the mold. They can literally harm the brain cells. They're neurotoxic. They can damage them. Right? It can make it hard to remember because now these cells that conduct electrical signal, now that wiring is a little bit fuzzy. And again, there's about 6 main ones. You have aflatoxins, you have ochratoxin, trichothecenes, fumonisins, zearalenone, and patulin. You could even put stachybotrys in there. These are different molds these are different. So the big molds that produce these mycotoxins are going to be penicillium, aspergillus, fusarium, and stachybotrys. And then those molds produce these mycotoxins. So you have to look at the molds first. So certain molds produce mycotoxins. Not all molds produce mycotoxins. So things like cladosporium, microsporium, those may be soil-based molds out in my garden over there. They may not produce mycotoxins. But the big molds that produce them, aspergillus, penicillium, fusarium, stachybotrys, and then those mycotoxins that are the most toxic are going to be your aflatoxin, your ochra, your trichothecenes, your fumonisins, zearalenone, and patulin. Now, these mycotoxins can be very inflammatory, right? They cause inflammation in the brain. You have microglial cells in the brain. These are the immune cells. First off, you have the astrocytes. That's the BBB, blood-brain barrier. Those astrocytes make that up. And the more inflammation we have, that breaks down that blood-brain barrier, and you can have these toxins go to the brain. And when it goes to the brain, it can create headaches. It can create fatigue. It can create problems thinking. Why? Because inflammation in the brain activates those microglial cells, and that's going to make it hard for that brain to conduct, because the more those microglial cells are active, it's going after all of these immune stressors. And when it goes after it, imagine it's like you have a critter on the loose in your house, and you're trying to just get after that critter, get after that rat or bug, and then in the meantime, you're just making your house all a disaster. It's the same thing that's happening in your brain, except you don't have a mess left over. You have all these cognitive incapacitation, fatigue as well. Now, you're going to have oxidative stress. That's nothing more than oxidation, losing electrons. So part of this whole process, this metabolic process, you're going to have an exhaust come out called oxidation. So when you lose electrons, then your body uses these antioxidants, whether it's fat-soluble vitamins, nutrients, vitamin C, NAC, glutathione. It's going to use these to donate their free electrons to deal with the loss of electrons from all of the oxidation. In your life, think of oxidation as the rusting nail outside, or you cut open the avocado or the apple, you let it sit in the counter, it gets brown. That's oxidation. Now, you squeeze some vitamin C on it from a lemon, guess what? It won't oxidize because that vitamin C is giving up an electron to stabilize that oxidation process. So we're going to also weaken your immune system because we're activating these microglial cells. The more stressed out that immune system is, it's going to be tired. It's not going to have that reservoir. It's the reason why when you get tired, the first thing you do is you try to sleep. Why? Because you're trying to strengthen your immune system. That's why things like zinc and bone broth and really easily digestible supporting foods are great for your immune system. Obviously, when your immune system is really weak, you need a really good anti-inflammatory, low toxin diet to really get the inflammation down and get the nutritional density up. It can impact your hormones. A lot of these xenoestrogens compounds have mycotoxin backbone. So mycotoxins a lot of times can mimic estrogen. It's part of the reason why you'll see it in like zearalenone in cows is a big one. They'll put them in cows' ears to kind of fatten them up. There's an estrogenic component with that. So zearalenone is a big one. And these toxins can impact your hormones. So if you're a female, it can seriously impact your estrogen, create more estrogen dominance, can throw off that estrogen-progesterone ratio. As a guy, more estrogen's coming into the system. That's going to impact your LH signaling. LH then talks to the cells Leydig to make testosterone, and then you have this feedback loop. It can get disrupted, so now you're making less testosterone because that feedback loop, that HPG, hypothalamic pituitary gonadal feedback loop, is disrupted. And then, of course, energy drop. This all takes lots of energy. It impacts the mitochondria. Mycotoxins poison and impact the mitochondria. Go to PubMed, type in mycotoxins and mitochondria. You'll see all kinds of studies where it poisons it. And again, we need B vitamins, we need CoQ10, we need nutrients, but these toxins can get into that Krebs cycle, and it can really impact that Krebs cycle being able to produce ATP. It's because the Krebs cycle is going to grab, each time it pumps around, 3 NADHs, 1 FADH2. So in 2 cycles per unit, it's going to produce 6 NADHs, which are B vitamin derived, and then 2 FADH2. They go into the Krebs cycle, and the more oxidative stress we have, we're not going to produce those nutrients efficiently, and they're not going to have good ATP coming from the electron transport chain to give us more energy. So the energy drop too. So we're causing brain damage, we're causing inflammation, oxidation, losing electrons, we're weakening our immune system. We have the xenoestrogen, the estrogen mimickers coming in, throwing off our cycle, impacting men and women both, and then creating mitochondrial deficit and creating fatigue. And it can also create fatigue via weakening the adrenals, weakening the thyroid. Increased mycotoxins can lower T3 and increase reverse T3, which is your inactive thyroid. So it can do all these things. So if you have mold issues and you want to dive into the root cause and look at your home, look at yourself, there'll be a link down below where you can reach out to my staff and we can look at it and schedule. And we always look at testing and prioritizing the home first and fixing the gut, detoxification, and looking at what we can do with your health second. So if you want to see myself, Dr. J, and my team, we see patients virtually all over the world. So if you want that support, it's there for you. And if you enjoy the video and you want to dive in deeper, please feel free, share with friends and family, and there'll be links below. Make sure you subscribe. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Take care. Bye.